When we start having changes in estrogen, one of the very first things that goes is pure power and strength because our contractile proteins, actin and myosin, estrogen affects myosin. So what happens is when we start having perturbations in estrogen, we start losing the functionality of myosin until we start lifting heavy. So if we start lifting heavy, it creates an initial response to change what we call the isoform or the type of myosin to make it actually bond to actin, and you maintain your power and your strength and your fast twitch fibers. If we were to put women and men in the gym in their late 30s, early 40s, and we start going on, let's just go to failure because we want to build muscle, which tends to be what people are saying now. It doesn't matter how heavy you lift as long as you hit failure. That's more of a metabolic and let's split the muscle fiber to build it again. We're not addressing the strength and power loss that women are encountering. Because we'll see women and they'll come to me and they'll say, I don't understand what's going on. It's like, I can't open this jar of pickles anymore. My running pace has decreased. I'm plateauing specifically in these lifts, even though I've changed my program. It's like, okay, we have to bring it back and we have to look at including the power base, the lower reps, the higher weights, and putting some plyo work in there in order to keep progressing. For men, it doesn't have to be that way. They can do any of the spectrum and still gain power and still gain strength because their muscle fibers are not affected by estrogen because they have testosterone that works for them. Then we have women like, oh, well, maybe I should add testosterone. It's like, but testosterone in a woman's body does not do the same thing as testosterone in a man's body. So it has nothing to do with muscle strength. So when we start looking at what's happening across the age and how our sex hormones interfere or affect our strength training, we have to be very specific for women. It's like, okay, what are we after? Are we after pure strength for longevity and brain health? Or are you looking just to build muscle that might not necessarily be functional because it's not as strong as it should be?
Well, do you know, you've hit on something there that has become something of a hot topic over my last few videos, because when I speak to different people, I mean, for instance, my parents' strength coach, he advocates, he will say that you need to lift progressively heavier in order to build muscle, and that strength is something different. And I still haven't wrapped my head around this. I gave him the scenario. Somebody joins the Marines and they can do 10 push-ups and, you know, a few weeks later they can do 50 because they're practicing them every day. Are they not stronger and therefore have more muscle to give them that strength? Is there a subtle difference here that I'm not wrapping my head around?
Yeah. So when we think of strength, there's primarily two main components to it. It is how strong the muscle contraction is and how fast it is. And in that as well as how many fibers are being recruited. So if we break that up, we go, okay, one of the very first things that happens in strength training is the central nervous system stimulates more motor units to be recruited. So this is how many fibers are actually being recruited for a contraction. So you can have a contraction, but it might not be as strong or as powerful. It's just recruiting more fibers. What we also need to do is we need to add a heavier load to it so that when we're recruiting, we're also getting myosin and actin to hold on to each other a lot harder to have a very strong contraction. So if we're looking at the
build the
push-up
muscle.
scenario, not necessarily build the muscle. This is
Okay.
a separate part. So if we look at your push-up scenario,
Yeah.
if they're practicing and they go from 10 to 50, it's not necessarily about building strength. It's the first component of recruiting more muscle fibers to do that action. Doesn't mean the muscle fibers are contracting stronger and more powerfully. Just means there's more fibers being recruited to do the action. So that's just a repetition endurance, muscle endurance. If we're looking to be able to do 10 push-ups with a 15-kilo weight on our back, then what's happening is we're getting more of those fibers being recruited for the endurance component, but we're also getting a stronger hold of our contractile proteins together. So myosin and actin come together, and it's a sliding filament. So they come together, and this is a muscle contraction. You can have a slight muscle contraction, right? So it's it's still a muscle contraction, but it's not very strong. If you have myosin and actin that hold on to each other really strongly, then it's a really tight muscle contraction. And this is what the strength and power is. Whereas the endurance is more of a light one, and it can keep going. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. And if, in order then to actually build that muscle mass, are you also of the view that we need to keep adding load? It can't just be more and more repetitions.
Exactly. Exactly. Because when we're looking at what's the problem when we talk about lean mass and the loss of lean mass with age, it's not just muscle, it's muscle and bone. And we want them to be very functional. We could build lean mass, but if it's not really strong, you're still not going to have power and the ability to alter prefrontal cortex to improve brain neuroplasticity. So when we're looking at the heavier loads and progressively getting stronger by adding load, then we're creating an environment that's going to keep that myosin on track to get stronger and to hold on to actin. And we're also going to create a better neural network in the brain to, one, improve cognition, which is something everyone wants, but two, to recruit more of those fibers for that strong contraction. If we're just going to failure, we don't have a lot of the neural changes in the prefrontal cortex. You might get neural changes in the rest of the brain, but not prefrontal cortex. So it's not actually stimulating to have a strong contraction. It's having an endurance component where you can keep going for a long period of time, but that doesn't necessarily mean quality. And yes, again, you're going to build lean mass, but that doesn't mean it's a really strong, powerful muscle that's going to allow you to jerk yourself straight if you start falling off a curb. So it's not
Yeah.
necessarily one that's going to prevent falls. It's not necessarily one that's going to improve cognition. And that's, I think, the big disconnect when we're talking about strength especially in social media and the way people don't understand. It's not just about building lean mass. It's about how strong that muscle is as you were building it. And how do we go about preserving strength and fast twitch fibers and all the things that women need to conserve as we get older in order to have a really good health span.
Yeah, that explains it so well. And it also explains, because I do get a lot of people saying, why are you, making your mom and dad lift so many heavy things? And, my mom had a DEXA scan before Christmas, and her her spinal bone density has increased, and that was over a year, and it's increased by nearly 7%. I know, amazing.
That's
and she's
awesome.
83 years old. Isn't it incredible? 83 years old.
That's
but
awesome.
That to me was what the lifting heavy was about. That was what all that effort achieved. And she had, I think people didn't understand that she had been doing resistance bands and stair climbers and rowing machines for years, and it hadn't moved the dial for her in the way that just getting down and doing those dread lifts, as I call them, and all the rest of it really, really has for her. And you have just perfectly explained it, because when people asked, it was like, I don't get the granular detail there to have this argument, but you've put it so beautifully. Thank you.
Yeah. And this is why we're seeing the upsurgence of women in doing strength training, but it's not really strength training. You see Lululemon pop up in LA Fitness, and it's all about let's do P-Volve and light weights to failure. Okay, you're going to get some muscle shape, but it's not the quality that we are after.
Similarly, I mean, obviously Pilates and yoga are hugely popular, but it sounds like they're not quite enough for what we need as we get older.
No, and I mean, I get slammed by everyone who loves Pilates and yoga, and I'm not against them at all. They're great. They're really good for isometric hold, for proprioception, for balance, for meditation, all of those things, but they do not move the needle when we're looking at pure strength, fast twitch fiber, brain health, and bone density. You can complement your Pilates and yoga with the heavier lifting, but you have to be able to pull heavy loads to put that strain on the muscle, to put that strain on the bone, to actually get an adaptation of stronger muscle, stronger bone, more of both of those.